Alex Jones. I mean, you're redefining media in America. And, the mainstream media keeps saying, oh, it's not going to work. This guy
Max, you don't know how right you are. I was talking to Ventura about 6 months ago. No, it was almost a year ago. It was last October when he was here. And he said, yeah, I'm doing a new show called American Conspiracy. And then on air, I said, that's funny, Jesse. Watch this. And I showed him the trailer for a TV show that was pitched 2 years before for me, called American Conspiracy. So they changed the name. He didn't know that. He didn't know he'd been pitched my show. They pitched him a new show, and they changed the name to Conspiracy Theory, and now they have changed it the way Jesse had the idea of he'll go out and judge conspiracy theories. So it's not really, but the zenith of it was that. And that's what's scary, is to realize that I have trailblazed and pioneered unknowingly so much of what's happened, but you've also pioneered a lot of media activism and ideas in your own right. And I think that's a message to everybody else that they can pioneer new ideas and new thoughts by just getting out there and doing it.
Yeah, well, the pioneers are the ones with the arrows in their back. The pioneers, they go across the country and they open it up to trailblazers for the rest of the country. They're the ones that get the arrows in the back. They're the ones that die on the trail, And then the people who come later say, oh, this is great. What a fantastic trail. But unfortunately, as a pioneer, I have no choice, and I just can't stay static and watch these lame mimics and clowns and ne'er-do-wells over there at Fox News and these other media outlets continue to rip people off and serve it up with their monopoly pricing schemes, and they infiltrate the news. They don't give any kind of balanced reporting whatsoever. They are as responsible for the health catastrophe and the war catastrophe and the banking catastrophe as, CNBC has got to be held responsible. James Cramer has got to be held responsible. This guy is a financial terrorist, James Cramer. Think of all the money he's blown out of people's accounts, going on TV every day, dancing. And when I was a stockbroker in 1982, okay, it was illegal to put a color photograph in a prospectus because they thought it was too enticing. Here we are in 2009, and James Cramer's practically doing a striptease on a strip pole, showing a little thigh and doing his little come-on dance. It's where's the Christian right about that? James Cramer it looks like he's...
Well, no, he gets you all emotional, and it's mad money, but it's like it's Crazy Eddie or something. But let me ask you this in closing, and then we've got Wayne Madsen coming up with some breaking news on the CIA, always breaking big news. When do you see the sucker rally ending, then, if it is a sucker rally?
It's not tradable. Don't trade this rally thinking you're going to get in and out. Just stick to your core positions, which are gold bullion. Gold bullion has been averaging 20% a year for 5 or 6 years now. Last year it was up 5% even during the catastrophe of 2008. Just stick to your core positions. If you want to get actively involved in this market, do what I'm telling you, which is to get involved in this boycott Whole Foods and encourage George Soros and these other hedge funds to sell short Whole Foods and to drive that stock price down to below $1 a share. And I've got people in London with $1 million to give to the victims of America's healthcare industry based on that stock price going to below.
And what, you have an article with the details of what you're talking about at maxkeiser.com?
It's the same thing I did 2 years ago with Coca-Cola. If you look up Max Keiser, Coca-Cola, and the Karma Bank hedge fund, it's the
same
thing.
So you haven't even put this out in press release yet. You're talking about it here first?
I'm breaking it on your show.
Uh-oh. All right. Hey, Max, let me say bye to you during the break. We got Wayne Madsen coming up with a lot of key news straight ahead right here. All right, Max Keiser is our guest for another 15 minutes. Then we've got Wayne Madsen coming on. Max, I wanted to get into some other subjects here. You heard me when you were on hold for a few minutes getting into Psychology Today, attacking me. And, I mean, it is whole cloth baloney. It implies I'm estranged from my parents, that I know no one, that I'm a liar, that I'm delusional, that I'm calling for people to carry out acts of violence. I mean, the system, don't they understand they're discrediting themselves just with their wholesale lying?
Well, psychiatrists, you remember Hannibal Lecter was a psychiatrist, so that's about as credible a representation of that industry as you're going to find. Anybody who listens to the psychiatry industry might as well be going on a date with Hannibal Lecter.
Well, I mean, this whole thing is an ad for mind-altering drugs. The editor's note, the editor looks like she's had her soul sucked out here. I mean, I just get amazed by people this deceptive. Just a crew of, talk about piratical people. I mean, do you agree with me that it really has become just a ruling class that wants to say everybody's mentally ill so they can manage our lives and force druggists in a THX 1138 system?
Look, the oligarchy we talked about before, and it extends to these various industries, and the health industry and the drug industry is an industry that's being allowed to write policies for their own benefit. And if they've got psychiatrists and psychoanalysts, remember in the torture in Guantanamo Bay and these other areas in Iraq and Afghanistan, the American Psychiatric Association was actually having people there oversee the torture. They were actually witnessing the torture. Is that the role of a doctor, to oversee torture? So they're totally out of bounds in their industry. They've been discredited by their participation in torture in these places, and no one should listen to them. And obviously they have an interest in selling drugs and to keep people as mentally unstable and as incapable of forming rational thought and opinions as possible. So, to be criticized by them, it only means you're doing the right thing. Of course, you're going to attract the attention from that industry because what you're saying is going to possibly take people off drugs, and that would cut into their profits. So, of course you're going to be attacked. I mean, I don't even know why you spend more than 5 seconds on it. Those people are just frontmen and pitchmen for the drug industry. If someone's listening to this show and they're not on mind-altering substances, it's because you have shown them the way toward a free thought environment that doesn't need to be told by the drug industry what to think. So, you're cutting into their profits. And anytime you cut into the industry's profits, you're going to be targeted by that industry. If you come out and say that the banking industry is holding Congress as hostage for a bailout, then the banking industry is going to come out and smear you publicly. Last time we did this campaign against Coca-Cola 2 years ago, the one I just described to you with Whole Foods, we got this guy all over America. They wrote smear campaigns. If you look it up, Coca-Cola hedge fund, you'll see that they were calling me all kinds of vicious names because I was actually threatening their profit centers. If you threaten their profit centers, and their profit centers are all based on monopoly profits and oligarchical profits, they're going to come after you. But that's how it's as night follows day. But as long as people are supporting cash on cash, the expansion of the Alex Jones domain, then obviously the people are with you. Because if they weren't with you, your domain would not be expanding as it is.
Yeah, it's just creepy to have George Soros and the Republicans and Psychology Today and the Wall Street Journal and just all attacking me. And I know it's because we're having success. It's creepy.
Okay, but Soros, so let me tell you something about Soros. He's a pure hedge fund. He's a pure hedge fund. And hedge funds are a free-floating force in the financial universe. They will go wherever they make money. And that's my point. In other words, if enough people boycotted Whole Foods to drive the stock price down, George Soros would be selling short Whole Foods for us.
Because he's a political atheist. He'll just a total pragmatist.
So why don't we use hedge funds to leverage our ideas instead of having the government use hedge funds to leverage their ideas? The hedge funds will go wherever there's
Final
money
segment.
to be made.
Stay with us.
The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
Max, we were trying to get on your Pirate My Film site. It's crashed. So a lot of the listeners are checking that out.
Well, it's in beta. So, I figured it would crash. It's in beta. So sorry about that. But, it's going to, as I said, the point is that people can, it's the pirate futures market. You can raise money for independent films, and you can do so by sharing the revenues of pirate sales, as we were just talking about, with the people who are helping you finance the film. So you're bypassing Hollywood. Hollywood is another monopoly in America that is not doing anybody any good.
Yeah, the only problem with your model is All these weasels out there will say they're part of your film now. That's why I couldn't be part of something like that, at least in your early stages, because people would come invest in it just to claim they had a stake.